So only one car behind the safety car we see coming past us now. So the 66 car having a safety car all of its own.
How exclusive.
Yeah, absolutely, the JMW Ferrari. Okay, so those tyres very cold. We expect to see the tyres at least 80 degrees C or above, so down at half the temperature that they are. And of course, as the temperature builds, so does the pressure, which also affects the ride height of the car. So he needs to be working hard now to get the pressures in. Lena talking about weaving there. I think actually it's quite well documented that the best way to heat the tyres is traction and braking events, so that you're heating the wheel, and the wheel actually radiating the heat out into the tyre. Weaving gets the surface of the tyre warm, but it doesn't really heat the core, and it's the core of the tyre that needs to be warm to make the tyre really work at its best. Surface temperature, not all that important. It is the core that matters.
Well, interesting. The safety car will come in at the end of this lap. This is the AF Corsa. This is the lead car in the pits, the lead in GT Pro in the pits and in the garage as well. So that's quite interesting, with Stefan Mucker not very far behind, also in the class. But that's perhaps your brake discs or brake pads that you were expecting a change there. Absolutely, and I'm surprised.
Well, I think actually they probably were looking for a safety car somewhere around 3 o'clock in the morning to get that job done, and that clearly didn't come. So these guys now are using this safety car, the people that could wait that long, the ones that have been driving maybe slightly slower to this point, using this as the opportunity to get that service done. But certainly the Aston Martin racing team have had to get that done before now, and we saw that the 458's doing the same. So safety car in this lap, just pulled off.
But the slow zones will still exist.
Yes, absolutely. So the barrier repairs, fantastic job there. And again, I think we see some of what we saw last night of Eduardo Freitas and his team just using this as an opportunity to make sure that the circuit's as clean as it can be. They just don't want to see people picking up punctures unnecessarily. As we see the A safety car coming and parking in front of us, proving the point that we had the C car here in front of us before, so coming in at a different place, a different view for them.
And of course the other thing is you've got to repair the barrier because it can act as a launch if it's set at the wrong angle, and that would be awful to have that situation. Another car come round, hit the barrier and discover that it's at the wrong angle and literally launch the car. Would be absolutely disastrous. So obviously safety paramount, even in motor racing, always in motor racing. Very, very important. When things are at the limit, when people are driving cars at the limit, the performance is at the limit, that's when they desperately need to have maximum safety. Riding on board here with number 1 Quattro as an Aston pulls out in front of that car. It's trying to overtake. The Audi is trying to overtake Varys. There's a rather damaged Porsche there, isn't there?
GTE guys having their own battle, and the number 1 Audi very sensibly, Mark Genet, just saying, no, this, what caused that incident last night was people not being careful in that situation. And Mark, experienced enough to know that he's just got to back off and let them do their thing. He's now going to go 3 wide, and that's dangerous. That's very, very dangerous. Actually off on the runoff on the right-hand side, that's a very easy way to pick up a puncture or even get spat into that barrier on the right-hand side. That tarmac on either side of the straight, not smooth, very rough, dirty, and we see, I think that's the Taizan car, the 70 Ferrari 458 going straight on at Indianapolis. That's a common one, but I think we're going to see probably another slow zone there to get that car out. The digger on its way to go and scoop it out the gravel trap. He's gone in too hot. The 92 car has been sensible enough to say, no, on you go straight on. But that was very nearly taking out the GTE car. So, yeah, next slow zone, 96.
Yeah, Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
so
where you said. The reaction from that Porsche driver when the Audi was alongside, just said it all, didn't it? All of a sudden it was, oh, I didn't see you there.
Absolutely, and they wouldn't have with that Taizan car coming in way too hot on cold tyres. As we heard Lena Gage saying, you know, the tyres down to half their operating temperature. So now starting to build the pressures and temperatures again as they push on, and very easy when the temperatures and pressures are low to cut a tyre as well. The tyres are susceptible to puncturing when they're down at lower pressure and temperature.
That was Pierre Herré in the number 70 Ferrari, which is off in the gravel trap. They'll get that car out again, but there is a slow zone there as well now. So we've got a couple of slow zones.
The 70 car, another we've seen in lots of trouble throughout the weekend, I think it's fair to say. Just a few driver errors, actually, mainly in that car.
Team Taizan, which is run by a Japanese man called Ricky Chiba, who's been involved in motorsport for many years, mainly running cars in the Japanese championship. But I can remember he had a 962 Porsche 962 or 956, or at least sponsored one many years ago. So he's been involved, and he's won championships in Japan, very much in GT racing as well. So good to see them back here at Le Mans again.
And Pierre Herré in that car has been here quite a few times. He came here, I think, last with the CRS squad run by Andrew Caculdi from the UK. Now the McLaren GT squad as it is, who we won't be seeing here at the moment until they get themselves a GTE car, which is all part of the convergence talks. Yeah, he's experienced around here. He knows how to do it, and a shame to see him make a mistake there in the after that safety car. Seeing a repeat of it again there, just going in way too hot, and the very fact that that's a factory Porsche that he's trying to outbrake probably says it all. You're not going to be outbraking your factory Porsche in a GTM Ferrari 458.
Probably not. Absolutely. Well done.
So they're just going to go in, and that car obviously now moved, and Pierre on his way back, I think he'll be coming into the pits, probably dumping a lot of gravel. The 53 Ram Racing car now in the pits. The 52, garage door down. We hadn't seen that, though they've actually chosen to retire the 52 car with its gearbox woes. They tried desperately hard to get that car fixed and back out, but looks like the gearbox issues are serious enough to not get them back out.
So 53 rejoins. Where's that in relation to the class? 53, quite some way down, in fact, with was Mark Patterson. So quite some way down the order. In fact, AM at the moment is led by Christian Poulsen, with Klaus Bachler in the Porsche in second place, couple of laps behind. And Klaus Bachler, a very good peddler. He's won in Porsche Super Cup last year, and so he's in second place in the Porsche. And then in third place is number 61, Chiocci, in the Ferrari. Paolo Roberti in fourth place, and then Nicholas Johnson in the Krone car. Ferrari in sixth, then Pat Long in the Porsche, way down in seventh, and then Pierre Herré in number 70, who we saw a moment ago, next up. 34 gets a substantial penalty, 35 seconds stop-go penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And let's just check out who that is. 34, not in contention in...
34 is Michael Frey.
Yeah, so in fourth place, in fact, in LMP2, very much in contention there. I was saying not in contention, but indeed it is. So 35 seconds, he doesn't want to lose, really.
Absolutely, that's going to be gutting for those guys. They really can't afford to be throwing time away like that. Very much still in the battle. They're 1 minute 20 back from Mark Shalisky in the Nissan G-Drive Racing Ligier Coupe. 1 minute 20 back now, and then a further lap back, Bade, and I fear that going 2 laps down will be Michael Frey in that Oreca, but yeah, they really didn't need to lose that time.
Now, with all that safety car and slow zone, etc., etc., the gap between Marc Genet and Mark Webber has come down a little bit. It's now 105 seconds, 1 minute 45 seconds between the two. It's come down a bit. It went up and now it's come back down.
But what was gutting there, and we did see, because of the nature of the way it worked, we still have a slow zone out there, so Mark might get that time back yet. But Mark has been through that slow zone one more time than Marc Genet, and this will ebb and flow now until such time as it goes away. And we, for the sake of the race being a fair one, we want to see Marc Genet go through that slow zone one more time than Mark Webber, which will take away the advantage that he's gained so far from that. So race control, please keep an eye on that one, because we want to see a nice fair fight for this. And Mr. Webber wants his 50 seconds back, please.
So the Mark versus Mark show at the moment, at the lead of the Le Mans 24 Hours. Marc Genet ahead of Mark Webber. And then Marcel Fassler, who's a couple of laps further back in third place in the second Audi. It's Audi, Porsche, Audi, and then the Toyota of Nicolas Lapierre, which is about 6 laps behind Marcel Fassler. And then Romain Dumas, who's just about a lap behind Nicolas Lapierre. Dumas in the second of the Porsches. So 2 Audis still, 2 Porsches still, just 1 Toyota.
Just a comment there, as you say, about the Toyota. A comment from Kazuki Nakajima in a press statement. It's heartbreaking. I don't know what to say. I really feel for the team and all of the people supporting us. I think we're doing a great race until that moment. We were leading and showing great pace. Somehow I thought maybe we'll make it this time, and then this happens. This is not defining what this is. That's Le Mans, and that's why we come here to take on the challenge. We will try again.
Well, he did put everything into it.
I think he was the star of the show. So as we see the slow zone procedure continue while they repair the barrier, we're just seeing here somebody's noticed that the number 1 Audi race leading car is not showing its positional lighting on the left-hand side, and while we were just waking up and coming back, we did see that the race organisers and officials had decided to bring the Corvette in for the very same thing and make it change its door to repair that. So I suspect we're going to see an Audi in to change a side pod to put that right, assuming it's not just a connector somewhere inside the side of the car, but they'll be given the opportunity to do that at the next pit stop, and if they can't make that work at the next stop, then they'll be made to bring that car back in and do that properly.
If it's been noticed, of course.
Absolutely, but I suspect with this much of the race left to go, it will be noticed at some stage in the not too distant future. So the number 20 car still chasing it down, that gap growing again in that last lap by another 7 seconds. Mr. Webber is going to be pushing on hard now, I think, to try and close that gap. Assuming they want to push hard to race them, and they're not just going to run their own program. But I don't believe the guys at Porsche are going to just continue doing their thing now with just 7 hours and 13 minutes to go.
In LMP2, the gap is just over a minute. It's about 75 seconds between Schultz Hitzky in the 35 Ligier and Nelson Panciatici in the 36 Alpine. Then comes Ludovic Badi in the second of the Ligiers, number 46. And then next up is Michel Frey, who has just been into the pits, I think, in 4th place. And he's got Oliver Turvey next up in the Zytek number 38. Then we got Jean Charouz, Gary Hirsch, Ho Pin Tung, and Chris Dyson. So a lot of LMP2 cars and quite competitive ones. Meanwhile, in GT Pro, the margin there is 33 seconds between Stefan Mucker, who is now in the lead, ahead of Giancarlo Fisichella. So Aston and Ferrari disputing GT Pro, and GT Am is Aston and Porsche, and the margin there is, it's probably 2 or 3 laps. So Christian Poulsen, not comfortable, but looking better. Now, the repair is done, we're pleased to say. So that repair is done. Whether there's other repairs further round,
I think that was it, because I think where he hit the wall on the outside.
Well, there's 2 slow zones at the moment, 106 and 100, or is that 250?
The depth of the slow zone in effect. So slightly longer than a normal slow zone. Normally we see those being a 30-second period of time additional to the lap. Just seeing that Michael Frey has served his penalty now in the LMP2 Orica, the 34 car run by the, I think that's the Race Performance squad.
And that was for speeding in the pit lane.
As we see a replay of the 35 car, driven now by Mark Shalisky, taking over from Alex Brundle. So next in the driver rotation will be the young hard charger Alex Brundle, but those guys just doing a sterling job. Yeah, sorry, Jan Mardenborough next, then back into Alex. Jan seemed to have driven most of the night, though, so I'm wondering if they've chosen to... they'll choose to do some long stints here for the other two to give Jan a chance to rest, because he definitely... is that Audi goes grass tracking? If they'll choose to do it that way. The 97, class leading, Stefan Mucker coming out, and I don't know who's got in that car. I'm not sure what the driver rotation is, but that in for its next stop.
Well, we only just saw the brief part of the pit stop. We don't even know that there has been a driver change there. There it goes. It leaves its pit. Still in the lead of the class, was by 38 seconds. Will it still be in the lead? And indeed, Stefan Mucker would appear still to be in that car. 1 minute until the end of the slow zone procedure. So there we go, full racing again. And Fisichella has gone through ahead of Stefan Mucker. So a change there, but still very, very close between the AF Corsa Ferrari of Giancarlo Fisichella, number 51, and Stefan Mucker in the Aston Martin number 97.
And what I was talking about there of the slow zone and Mark Webber getting caught again through that slow zone. Unfortunately, where the slow zone will be coming away in about 20 seconds time, and Mark Webber has had to go through that one more time than Marc Genet, as we see Marc Genet put the gap up to 2 minutes 42.
Yeah, that's got to be infuriating, because it's gone up about a minute again, gone back to a minute, over a minute. Gone back to 2 minutes 42.
Yeah, so Mark really losing out there due to the slow zone, which is something that Paul Truswell and I discussed at length, and I think we both came to the same conclusion that they weren't fair, but they were right, because we want to see these cars racing, and the safety cars are no fairer, but you stand more chance of losing more time, I think, with these slow zones, as we've just seen. Mark actually losing about 2 minutes in total through that period, which takes an awful long time to win 2 minutes back on the road, as we see the one Audi now coming down pit road. So he's going to close that gap again, but this is artificial now, because this is now into pit stop times that both have to do.
So the lead Audi into the pits with Marc Genet aboard, and the third-placed LMP2 car with Ludovic Badia aboard also into the pits, number 46. Green flag, so we have a green flag all the way around the circuit. So we can gauge the various different situations. The drinks bottles replaced. One has water in it, the other has energy drink in it. Mini bar, there we go. Number one, no full service for that this time by the looks of things. Looks like it's just going to be fuel. Marc Genet stays in the car and still being held.
Something going on there. Fires up and we hear it. The turbos spool up right from the rear, right by the exhaust. And he heads away. So that gap will now be down to something like 1 minute 40, but just can't afford to be losing that time that Mark Webber lost there, you know, almost cruelly, unfairly, due to the slow zone. But this is part of the procedure. There's nothing that the race organisers can do about it. It's how the cookie crumbles. It's a roll of the dice every single time. So the 98 car. Let's see where that car's running. The Aston's running very strong, you know. I think Giancarlo Fisichella in the 51 Ferrari 458 class leading GTE car probably owes us a brake change. And assuming he does owe us a brake change, and he has to do that brake change under green, I think that Stefan Mucke would have nearly a lap on the Ferrari.
Well, we saw the Fisichella car in the garage a few laps ago, so I think maybe they've done their brakes.
Okay, so this is now a race on track as it is.
Yeah, should be.
As the 97 car comes past us, and the gap will now update. We'll see the screens. Yeah,
11 seconds between Fisichella and Mucke.
So it is a real race now.
Very much so. And then Marco Holzer in third place in the Porsche, number 92. But he's a lap down, if not 2 laps down, in fact, on those 2 leading pro cars. GTE Pro and GTE AM. GTE Pro, you can have 3 top-rated drivers, whereas in GTE AM, you have to have a bronze, a silver, and a gold or platinum. So you have a trio of drivers of differing abilities, whereas in GTE Pro, most of them are factory cars.
I think Marcel Fassler just driving as fast as he possibly can. He's not too interested in the whether he was unlapping himself or whether that was a position. He's out there to win a race, and having lost all that time in the pits, he's just got to press on very hard now and try and gain it back.
So Genet to Webber. Well, it's actually, of course, with that pit stop for Marc Genet, it's come back a bit to 105 seconds now, 1 minute and 45 seconds between Marc Genet and Mark Webber after 281 laps. Still nearly 7 hours, just over 7 hours of the race to go. Still a long way. And yes, a couple of laps down for Marcel Fassler. He's lapping quicker in that first sector than his 2 rivals. Well, at least Mark Webber. He's lapping quicker than Mark Webber in the first sector. Marcel Fassler in third place in the number 2 Audi. In fourth place, another 6 laps behind him, is the Toyota, currently driven by Nicolas Lapierre in the number 8 Toyota. And then Romain Dumas in the number 14 Porsche is in 15th place. In 5th place in LMP1. Those are the remaining LMP1s. We've lost a Toyota with the electrical problem. We've lost an Audi earlier on as well. We're left with 2 Audis, 2 Porsches, and 1 Toyota in the order of Audi, Porsche, Audi, Toyota, and Porsche.
Yeah, of course, that Marco Bononomi not being able to do anything about the accident that removed that at the time lead Audi. Absolutely gutting for him, and you could see that in his expression in the cockpit, banging the steering wheel, banging his head, and just not very happy to have been removed from this race by a couple of errant cars, one of them being a Toyota.
Yes, the Toyota, of course, of Lapierre was delayed in the same incident and eventually got back to the pits and was repaired and has been going ever since, but not the same fortune for the Audi number 3.
No, we heard that the gearbox casing had been punctured on that car by the drive shaft in the impact, which is why he didn't drive that car back, wasn't allowed to bring it back. Of course, if he had got it back, they could have rebuilt the gearbox, but he'd have done so much damage doing that, bringing it back from Tertre Rouge, where the accident had happened, all the way around the lap. If it had even got back, he would have been a pile of scrap, I think, by the time it had made it back, no matter what, and would have dropped an awful lot of oil at the same time, as we see the 51 car just coming past us now, and then the 97. Now that gap coming down, I feel.
Let's have a look. It was 11 seconds. And it is now 7.8, so you're right there.
It's visibly coming down as we see the cars, as one exits the forward chicane, one entering the forward chicane. So Darren Turner, Stefan Muka, sorry, is turning up the wick to close that gap, and this one's just going to be a race to the end by the looks of it, as we see the Porsche, the 20 car, the car that's currently running second, up in the into the pits. This is Mark Webber staying in for his third stint now, as we see Marcel Fassler set a purple sector, so fastest overall for the race in the hunt for that 20 car. He's got the message from Lena that you need to push on, get this, close this 2-lap gap, and there's a lot of work to do, but that's the way to do it. Fastest sector of all for the race for that number 2 Audi. Let's see what he does in the second as the Porsche drives away.
Yes, just fuel there for Porsche number 20 with Mark Webber still aboard.
Mark closed the gap slightly there on the last few laps to Marc Genet in the lead number 1 Audi, as we see.
Yeah. Aston overtaking Porsche and putting LMP2 car offline.
Yeah, Morgan trying to enter wall sideways. I don't think we need that. So the 91 Patrick Pilet, driven delayed GTE Pro Porsche 991 GTE that he's handing over there, but that car really taken out of contention around midnight with a couple of issues. They had a brake problem that they needed to deal with, and also an issue within the fuel system to go in and fix, so they took the opportunity to do that, and I think they've been delayed again since that, but we haven't got any detail of what that delay was. But certainly that car now playing a support role with who do we think Nick Tandy going in that car, Bob?
Didn't quite see whether it was Tandy or Jörg Bergmeister, but Jörg Bergmeister being the slightly longer wheelbase driver. So we will see when it comes.
So Fassler's second sector pretty quick as well. So Fassler really giving it the message now. He knows that he's got to chase this now. There's no sitting back and watching. It's chase it and go. So Bergmeister into the 91. That car really is out of contention and playing a support role for the 92 now. The 92 well in for a chance, but 2 laps down on the class lead.
Yeah, you feel be interesting to have a look at the lap times now. 3 minutes 27 for Marcel Fassler. Last time around, it could be even quicker this time. A really quick lap time is a 3:23 race time, and that's what we saw earlier on from Nakajima. That was lap 4 when there wasn't any traffic. 3 minutes 23, but even 3 minutes 27
just
with
coming
traffic.
Past us now, so we're going to get that split time.
Let's see what it is.
And the timing screen's taking a little while to update.
3 minutes 27 last time around.
No sector 3 time coming through for Marcel Fassler, but we've seen him come past us, so we know he's done it. Yeah, timing screen's just having a bit of a wobble. See if the online stuff is...
Into the Porsche, into the pits comes Porsche number 14 in 5th place, Romain Dumas, bringing that into the pits for a scheduled stop, I would suggest. Interesting that we haven't had that updated.
And still no, yeah, 3:27.0 is what I'm showing, which is the same on the online stuff as we have on our official timing screens in front of us. But we absolutely definitely saw the 2 car come past us. I don't think we're imagining things.
Clock's still running. So that's still working.
So 7 hours of this race remain, and all still to play for. Pantiatici in the Alpine in the second place car in LMP2. 34.1 in the first sector, fastest for that car overall, or fastest that car had done so far in this race. So again, the place coming alive. Antonio Garcia in that Corvette trying to make up the time lost in the early hours of this morning, trying to top up the transmission fluid. 37.2, setting a green sector as well. So several people out there on a real charge. Still no time for Marcel Fassler as far as the screens go, but we know that he's completed that lap, so he's not missing, but yeah, no time there. Perhaps a transponder issue there for the number 2 car, which Race Control will sort out. They do have a light beam system as well as a backup, so they can see at what point that car came through. And some poor person up there, if that is a transponder issue, will now have to sit there every time that car comes past and press a button to say, yep, it was that one. And the 33 we see going on its way. I think that's the HPD-powered Ligier, run by the Oak Racing squad. The other person who's really on a charge, Jerome Bleekemolen, in the Pro Speed competition, 79 Porsche, setting a fastest personal sector time in Sector 1. That on his 220th lap so far. As we see the 76 car coming in. 76 is the IMSA Matmut Porsche. That car being driven by David Halliday.
The son of Johnny Hallyday, who is generally accepted to be France's answer to Elvis Presley. But he's a bit high mileage now, as is, of course, Elvis Presley. Interestingly, we still haven't had that lap time from Marcel Fassler. You know, we've been waiting for that.
He's coming past again now, so let's see, because there's something fundamentally wrong. Yeah, no, the timing screen not picking up. No, there we go. I mean, we get a very long Sector 3 time.
Yeah. Did he go missing? Did he imagine it?
Did we imagine seeing that car? Because I'm certain we didn't imagine seeing that car. And at 302 seconds, Sector 3.
Well, it's lap time, 6 minutes 53.
It's double, isn't it?
It's pretty much double, yeah.
So let's hope the timekeepers pick that one up and make the correction there for him. But that's gutting that we didn't see what went on. I'm sure the guys at Audi will be walking down to have a quiet word in the ear at Race Control and say, "Oi, can we have our lap back, please?" So we'll see that car jump to lap 262. It's the first time I've ever seen that here, a timing glitch like that. I've never seen somebody manage to not be scored on a lap. Maybe he went offline, and maybe he was passing somebody off-piste.
And they didn't pick up the transponder time as it went past.
So the 88 Proton competition car being in for a fuel-only stop.
Now, Marcel Fassler, there we are. I think they've given it back now, 3 minutes 25, but it just goes to show how quick he is going. Just a couple of seconds off the fastest lap we've seen in this race.
Well, that would have made that other lap a 3:23.
Yeah, or 25,
so
no, it's 26.
The previous, yeah, sorry, 26.
So, Genet to Webber. 2 minutes and 51 seconds between those two at the moment after that last pit stop for Mark Webber. And then Marcel Fassler in third place, having got the message from Lena Gade, and he certainly has got the message.
Oh dear, the door's broken off.
The door's fallen off.
Those poor guys. This car has been through the wars. I know this is the sister car of the car that's really been through the wars. Can't tell you the number because it's on the door, which is no longer attached to the car.
There we go.
75. So that's Manu Collard's car, I think, isn't it?
Pro Speed competition, yes, you're absolutely right, with Marcus Paltela and Perodo in there as well. Emmanuel Collard, a very, very talented driver, and latterly a very talented Porsche driver.
Yeah, absolutely. Manu famous for the massive accident that he had in the LMP1 cars in at Monza, where he, the first chicane, managed to clear the wall in, I think that was a Pescarolo at the time, but a very talented LMP driver, always been here at Le Mans. He's part of the scenery, and he gets on his way with his door falling off. Whoops.
It wasn't my fault, Cub. I only just touched it, really.
Yeah. The pin just dropping out the top mount, and then the bottom mount saying, no, I can't hold this on my own.
And actually, that could be quite serious, because they might have to put in new mountings.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully it'll be the door that broke, not the chassis mounting, and therefore it'll be quite easy to fix. But it definitely wasn't going to hold on with the bottom mount alone.
Oliver Turvey on a charge out there, just set his best third sector time, which is the longest of the sectors. He's currently in 5th place in the Zytek run by Jota, number 38.
He has Frey in his sights, doesn't he? That's for 4th place, that battle in the LMP2 category, closing in.
Just under 3 minutes between the two of them. Michel Frey is
7 seconds out in that last lap.
That'll be useful. And Marcel Fessler, 3 minutes 24.991 last time, so that's a very, very competitive time. He has certainly got the message and is charging him. I mean, he's 9 seconds quicker than Mark Webber ahead of him. He's 5 seconds quicker than his own teammate, Marc Genet, out in the lead. Marcel Fessler really going for it.
Yeah, those guys got nothing to lose now. They just need to pull those 2 laps back, and it's going to take a long time to get that time back. As we see Mark Webber, I'm intrigued to see what that gap's got to now between the #1 race leading Audi of Marc Genet and the 20 Porsche LMP1 919 hybrid of Mark Webber. We see the 2 Porsches running fairly close together on the circuit now. As the 20 leads the 14 through the Ford chicane, those beautiful white and silver, white and grey Porsches. And Mark Webber not really responding to the chase. Doesn't really need to at the moment, but equally Marc Genet pulling a larger gap now, up to 2:56. So 2:56 is, you know, not far off a full lap. Lead now, as we do see just now the #1 car come through, caught in traffic in the Ford chicane, a good place to catch it, not such a large amount of time lost. Marc Genet gets on and gets past, setting a much faster time than Mark Webber that last time around. Again, you know, 6 seconds thrown away there by Mark Webber. Whether that's because of traffic or whether he can't give it those same times that we're seeing from Marc Genet, I don't know.
Just doesn't seem to have the pace, does he? And if we look at Romain Dumas, he's in the 30s as well. He's only a couple of seconds or less than that, 1.3 seconds quicker than Mark Webber. The Porsches seem not seeming to have the pace, lapping about in the 2-minute 33s, whereas, as I say, for example, Fessler is 9 seconds quicker. That's a lot.
That is an awful lot, but a long way down Fessler, whereas the Genet battle is somewhat closer. But Mark going to be very frustrated to have lost that time under safety car in the slow zone. We see the lead change there, I think, in the GTE class, the replay. I think we're about to see the timing screen show. Stefan Mucker has caught and passed Giancarlo Fisichella. Yellow at Marshall's post 60, which is the second chicane on the Mulsanne, which is where these guys that we're seeing on the screen now are just coming down to and out of. Not sure what the yellow was for.
They had the yellow flag. We saw that waving in the background. I think it's gone in again now here. And as you say, that was at the second chicane, MP60, Marshall post 60. There it is.
The car that's just lost its door has now lost its wheel.
So that's number 75.
I think that's Perodo in the car now. And yeah, that is on its... Is it on its outlap, Bob, or is that... Just wait for that. Yeah, there was no nut there, was there?
No, it certainly didn't come off.
I think there were... Yeah, I think...
Rodo.
That whilst being busy worrying about the door, they didn't quite get that nut on. The stub axle's still there, and in one piece. He's not going to get that Porsche back, unfortunately. That rear engine car, if he drags that car back, the back of the car is going to be absolutely destroyed. So I fear that's retirement for the 75 Porsche.
Looks like the 14th retirement in this race. It was actually in 40th place, last place. So it just drops off the back. The 75 Porsche, well, that just about compounds their... it says contact and stopped, but we didn't see any contact. It just fell off, didn't it?
It did. I suspect we're going to see him, when he gets out of that car, the door fall off as well. So the poor old Marshall's going to have to scoop that back up along with the wheel.
It'll come back in kit form.
Yes, Airfix style. So Webber, that last time around, losing another 3 seconds to Marc Genet. So Marc, within probably one more stint at the rate we're going to have a whole lap on Mark Webber. As we see the 51 Ferrari 458, the GTE battle coming through, the one car in amongst that now. But the Aston driving away, that's the Aston you can see on the screen just in front. Oh, certain as we switch to the GTE AM leading. No, that's the other car. The 98 car with Pedro Lamy going into that car now with the pink on the helmet. Oof. Yeah, there was certainly no contact there, just a lack of a wheel nut because the stub axle is looking fairly complete. The number 1 Audi continues through Tertre Rouge and on its way down the Mulsanne straight, and it's going to be romping away at the moment. 3:28.5 last time around.
.28.29s are good there, but Fassler was in the 25s last time. This time it's 3 minute 27 for Marcel Fassler. Webber 3 minutes 31. Nicolas Lapierre in the Toyota and Romain Dumas in the Porsche, both in the 3 minute 30s. And such is the pace of this car that you actually have to monitor virtually every single lap. Pace of this race, I should say.
Audi doing the housekeeping in the garage now, as well as the housekeeping on the car when it came in.
Well, to be honest, twas ever thus. A vacuum cleaner was always extremely important in the pits here, if only to get the gravel out of the car.
Out of the car.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good old Henry in the back of the garage, always to suck all the everything out of the car. So 14 chases. I think that's the 8.
I think it's 20, actually. I think it's a teammate. And gets past it. 14 and 20 travelling together, and now 14 going ahead of 20.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So Mark Webber getting the hurry up there, which we suspected was coming because he'd been dropping a good lump of time to the Audi every lap, at least 3 seconds a lap.
But is this just proof that he just doesn't have the car?
The pace.
Exactly.
I wonder if they're on the soft tyre and Mark's really struggling there, because he's coming towards the end of his run now in this car, and he got in the cooler temperatures. So if that car has started on the soft, he might be starting to really feel that tyre go away. So I suspect we'll see him out at the next pit stop and handing that car over to young Brendan Hartley, who will be getting a set of soft or medium Michelin to go and do the next 3. And yeah, the 14 car just driving away from Mark Webber there. Mark 3:33.6, slower than his previous lap, so really struggling with pace. I'd like to have heard his response on the radio.
Yeah, 3 minutes 33s, even Duma a couple of seconds quicker.
I suspect his response will have been give me a car to do it.
Yeah.
Because Mark, more than capable, as we know.
We've got yellows out again, but that's because the Manitou is on track, removing that Porsche.
Yeah, that being covered by waved yellows, not one of these slow zone procedures as it's on the exit there. I think that's a fairly brave move.
Somewhat nervous Marshall, actually, quite justifiably so, really.
That last year where we saw the incident for, I think it was the Aston Martin, being driven by Fred Mako on the way out of there, which was leading the class at the time, about this time in the morning, actually, when he hit the wall there on the right-hand side. So, yeah, some brave marshals. The number 1 car comes through the first chicane.
As its teammate, number 2, Marcel Fessler, into the pits after that sparkling run of laps.
Marcel Fessler will be staying in that car. There will be no tyres. It will be a fuel-only stop.
And he peels off into his pit. Door opens, but it's just a change of the minibar.
The Nismo cam here coming down the pit lane, having a good look at the Audi guys at work.
Was suspected or suggested that those 2 bottles, the red and blue bottle, were one was screen wash and the other was a drinks bottle, but I think they're both drinks bottles. Someone did point out they're not to be confused.
These cars don't run a screen wash system.
No.
The screen wash would be of little use to them with the curvature on the windscreen. As soon as the speeds they're running, as soon as it hit, it would be gone. So no, none of these cars, even the GTE cars, not running a screen wash system. I often think a headlight wash system would be something of use on these cars, but something just too much weight to carry.
Yeah, yeah.
You see the WRC cars still running these days with a bladder inside the car that carries water to clean the windscreen, but they need that for water splashes and mud splashes and the like. So the 92 Pro Porsche coming in, that the factory car, and that's still sitting 3rd in class. Marco Holzer, he's not gaining, but he's not losing. He needs to gain that lap back, get on the lead lap, and then hope for some lucky safety cars.
Yeah, he's just a lap behind, isn't he, at the moment? There it is. Fuel going in. And a breather on the other side.
Interesting that Porsche make their vent man wear a high-vis vest. Nobody else doing that. They're helping the safety and efficiency of the Porsche crew. And away he goes. Oh, yeah, no, it does.
Thought he'd stalled it, yeah. A lot of morning after the night before faces there, either in the pits or out in the grandstands. And the Manitou just recovering that Porsche, but you can see the race cars in the background. I don't know where he's taking it.
That's it. I'm just wondering where he's going to put it. Yeah. Clearly the digger came from somewhere, so wherever it came from, I suspect is where that Porsche will be put.
Fassler has rejoined.
That's the number 8 car getting refueled, the last remaining Toyota. Those guys pushing on hard, but but unfortunately I just think that gap too big to close. 8-lap gap at the moment, and you know the guys at Toyota are going to be gutted about that. They were running such a strong race, and this car losing, it was only 5 laps down I think as we left last night, so I think it has lost a little more time. But actually we saw them last night trying to fix the, just as we finished our last stint, trying to fix the one of the turning vanes underneath, because they had an aero balance issue, and they needed to get in and fix that. So unlucky for some.
Nicolas Lapierre rejoining, still in 4th place, and as you say, there's nothing they can really do. They're a long way down. They're 5 laps down on the car ahead. They can charge, but will it do them any good? Will it get them anywhere? That's the problem.
They would have to hope for similar problems to those that befell the number 2 car to happen to all of those cars ahead.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that. I think these guys now are just pressing on, and you know, Audi know how to do this. Audi always strong come the morning.
It's been pretty impressive, actually, especially Fessler doing those lap times at this stage of the race. He was really charging.
As you say, that Genet goes quite a lot quicker, 3:26.5.
That's not bad. Yeah, very good.
That's a lap that you'd expect, you know, not from the man leading the race. He'd been told, you know, 3:28 was fine. So if he's comfortable doing those times, I suspect Kyle will let him get on with it. And the number 1 car actually on 1 more pit stop than the number 2. And 2 more stops than the Audi. So that we expected to see. The diesel car not able to go quite as far as the petrol, but the petrol with a slightly larger fuel tank.
Quite bumpy for Marc Genet in that car.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not getting a smooth ride of it. It definitely looks... I don't think there's a vibration there. It seems to be bumps rather than... as he wallops a curb.
Surface bumps rather than anything else. Here he is avoiding action around the outside of a couple of slower cars.
So super sub, Marc Genet expecting to be in the Jota Zytek this week, and ending up in the factory number 1 Audi with an opportunity to win the race outright. And yeah, I think on Monday morning, if he'd been offered this, without any offence meant to the Jota squad, I think Mark would have bitten anybody at Audi's hand off. Loic Duval is okay, who he's in to replace, but unable to race this weekend. The doctor's saying, no, you need a little bit more time to just recover from that bang that you had. So, yeah, Mark doing a sterling job, seething through the traffic now.
And, of course, he's sharing with a certain T. Christensen, who has won this race 9 times before. Will this be the magic 10? And the other driver in that car, of course, is Lucas Di Grassi.
You see the 88 8-star car. This is the 98 star car. Just getting front brake pads only. So interesting that on the 458 they actually only have to do the pads. They're not having to do discs as well. And I think the Aston Martin, traditionally heavy on its brakes, the front engine car, putting a lot more load through that front axle during braking events, and often see surface cracking on the discs of those Astons, and yeah, very difficult to get through. I know from experience that you can just about do 24 hours on a set of discs in an Aston, so I'm surprised they did change them. I've done it myself, but it was touch and go, and I had a few drivers looking at the discs at the end saying, did you really finish the race on those for me?
So just to be precise, it's the number 98 star car as opposed to the 98 star car.
Yes, absolutely. 62. These all-am car having a little moment there on the way into the first chicane, but recovering. And we're seeing lots of green sector times again. Just on certainly on the first page of timing, we've got loads of them popping up, so people pressing on. So Ho Pin Tung there in the 33 Honda-powered Ligier in the LMP2 class, setting a personal fastest for that car, a 3:40.2. Ollie Turvey now in on his in-lap, setting a green first sector. and Nelson Pantiatici, whilst trying to chase down Mark Shalisky in the Ligier, also setting green first sector. So everybody in that LMP2 class, they just seem to go for it, as we see the Zytec Nissan there getting an oil top-up. The Jota Sport car, that was the pressurised cylinder that you saw plugged in on the back, just to the right-hand side of the engine cowling fin. 34, nice slow-mo, lots of nice replays now.
Michel Frey really dropping out of the fray a little bit, isn't he, at the moment? He's back in 6th place in class. Was higher up than that. Look at the amount of
gravel that these guys are sweeping. The Toyota on the lock stops there. Absolute full opposite lock.
No number there.
On the way out. No, I'm surprised they've not been pulled up for that as well. But yeah, Frey never really seems to have recovered since the speeding penalty. We've not really seen him press on, as we see a GPS sensor having a bit of a wobble on the roof of that G-Drive 35 Ligier. And those laser lights on the front of the Audi, aren't they fantastic? The way they flash on and off, and the light that those guys in the Audi had at night, and they think of everything, those guys.
This time around, Fessler down in the 3-minute 25s, Genet 3-minute 27s, and Webber 3 minutes 30s. Genet there.
So Kyle Wilson-Clark giving the message there that what they wanted to do was a quadruple stint on these tyres, which I'm quite surprised about at this stage in the day with the lead they have. They don't really need to be doing that. They can get away with just a triple. They're a long way up the road, but these front tyres, he's saying, not coming back to him, so they would have hoped that it was tyre pickup causing that. But Mark saying, no, this isn't the case. The tyres are not coming back to me. And, you know, I think he's going to be begging for a new set of boots, if not a driver change at the next stop, because he is now running through his second stint.
Well, he's second fastest, as I say, to teammate Marcel Fessler. Second fastest of the top 5. And I'm afraid slowest of the top 5 is Mark Webber in the 3-minute 30-second brackets. We've got Lapierre and Dumas in the 3-minute 29s. So once again, confirmation that Mark just doesn't have the pace in the car, in the tyres, or wherever.
I suspect we're going to see Mark getting out of the car at the next stop.
Nice little bit of house work there.
Absolutely. I don't know who the offender was that took it out.
And here is Webber in the Porsche, weaving his way through traffic.
Passing the Jota Zytec there on the left-hand side. As he comes into the Porsche curves. Through that fast left-hander. That's quite a challenging corner, the double left. And then into the slower right-hand section, which leads through into karting. The left-hander, the international kart circuit there on the right-hand side of the circuit. I think Mark giving a fairly blunt message back there that he's doing what he can in that number 20 car. 332. So the pace just isn't there, and Mark clearly frustrated that he can't respond.
They seem to be happy with that pace, but it's 5 seconds slower than those around him.
Yeah, I mean, they do have to do less pit stops, and we might see that that's being factored into their strategy. The end game here, I don't know. They'd be mad to have given up on pushing for a victory. Ooh, as we see the Soprev car, I think that is, isn't it? It is. Wonder who's at the wheel of that, because we have our famous footballer in that car, Fabien Barthez. But I don't think he's in it. Yes, he is. That's Fabian
yes.
Barthez making that mistake, going straight on at the first chicane.
So is that a save or or is that a goal?
Own goal, I think, is what that is, isn't it? Yeah, Fabian Barthez, I think this is his first time here, isn't it?
I think so, yes.
And fulfilling a lifelong dream now that he's no longer playing professional football. Hoping Tung in that Ligier, the 33 HPD powered Ligier. Really pressing on. That's 3 laps in a row now, setting fastest sector 2 times for that car. The last lap, not that impressive, a 3:44.1, and to be at the top of that class, you've really got to be in the low 40s.